Hi and welcome. I'm Jeff Barton and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We're on each and every week. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in. We try to bring you information about what's going on in the Valley, in Las Vegas, Henderson, Summerlin, the surrounding areas, about the real estate prices, as well as mortgages. Mortgage rates have changed a lot and they're actually going down again. The prices here in the Valley are important, especially if you're looking as a first-time home buyer to get into the market right now. You obviously want to pay as little as possible to get into your house. If you're a young student and you're just getting your first job, obviously you're probably carrying some student debt. So a lot of that has to do with prices, and prices here have, they've kind of been up and down. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Jeff Barton and I'm here each and every week. We bring guests to the show that talk about real estate, talk about mortgages, talk about some of the issues that concern you when you're buying and selling properties. And let's say you want to be an investor. You want to look into things about renting properties. You're looking at advantages you might be able to take in this market versus last week's market or last month's market. So the prognostications of what's going to happen both in the spring buying season, which is about ready to come up. Hey, 2019, it's unbelievable. We're already almost in March. The year is really tumbling on and going faster. Let's talk a little about the economy. The economy in Las Vegas versus what's happening in the state of Nevada. We just had a terrific election. New people who run the state, new people who also run the school system here in Las Vegas, which is a very large, over 300,000 students in our Las Vegas school system. 70% of the students in the state who are in school here in the Las Vegas Schools District. So it's important to understand what's happening there. Dr. Jara, who was taken over about 6 or 7 months ago, had this plan, had a 3-month plan he was going to evaluate, and then he had a 3-month plan to I guess come up with a plan, and now he's in the implementation stage. There's a lot of points here I want to get to a little later on in the show to talk about that. With the panel. We have a terrific panel here each and every week. The same panel is going to come back this week. We mix and match the different people on the show based on their strengths and based on what the topics are in the show. Some of the specifics that I wanted to talk about right away in the real estate market. Most people want to sell high, right? I mean, that's the basis for real estate. You want to buy low, sell high. In this market, it's a little bit different. We have been seeing a median increase in prices to about $300,000. However, that's a year-to-year basis. Month-to-month is a little bit different, and especially in February of 2019. We have a list price every month that people want to buy. They want to sell their house high. But the actual price by which they sell the house has been quite surprising, at least to me. Let's just take this month, February 2019. Okay, the average list price, $280,000. But the average sale price, go on, guess. Obviously you can't guess, but let me just tell you, it's $252,000. Now that's quite a huge spread. That's almost $30,000 in the spread. So if you're selling this summer or this spring, you want to put your house on the market, and you're thinking about, okay, I know that there's probably going to be a spread. I'm going to have to give concessions, or I'm going to have to lower the price to whatever the price is going to be when we sell. What is the strategy going in? Do you have time to sell? Are you willing to wait 3 to 6 months before you sell? Are you going to end up chasing the market down as you price? Most realtors will tell you that if you price it correctly to sell today, you will get a price closer to where you're going to sell it if you sell, like let's say you list your price higher in this range here. If I've listed my house today at $280,000, knowing that it's probably going to be around $250,000, now this is an average, right? And this doesn't mean it's your property. And every seller out there thinks their property is the most unbelievable property in the market. Well, let me just tell you, averages and statistics don't lie. So if you're going to price your property, make sure you're pricing your property to today's market, and don't chase the market down, because you get less today than you would have got if you priced it correctly the first time around. Anyway, we have a great show coming up for you. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host. Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification in an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Are you experiencing hair loss? We have the solution with no drugs, no surgery, and no side effects. Experience 100% pain-free results with SuperGrow Laser Cap System, featuring 272 professional-grade lasers that make your hair thicker and fuller naturally. Use it 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and notice your hair growth in as little as 3 months. Visit online at irevivelaser.com to order your SuperGrow Laser Cap today and experience unbelievable results. irevivelaser.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm the host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We're on each and every week. Thanks for tuning in. And what we're going to do today is to try to inform and teach you about things that are relevant to your life, your lifestyle here in Las Vegas. I know that's kind of a vague term. We've had Lena on before talking about human trafficking and some of the things that surround this issue. So Lena Walter, who is the Swedish consul here and also president and co-founder of Awareness is Prevention. Lena, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's important what we're talking about. It's been in the news, obviously, lately with what's going on with Barb Kraft down in Florida. We always look at the end result either as the person or as some salacious headline. But there are hundreds of people involved. Locally here in Las Vegas, what is the issue? What's the problem? What's the scope of what we're talking about human trafficking here in Las Vegas?
The biggest problem in Las Vegas, I think, is homeless youth. We have any given day at least 2,000 homeless youth. And when I say youth, I mean under 18. Clark County School District last year had 14,500 students that were homeless in middle school and high school, and they still came to school. And the homeless youth are much more at risk for getting involved in trafficking because they're looking for a roof over their head.
Right.
And a lot of the homeless youth come from the foster care system that is broken.
Right.
Of course, there are good foster care parents, but for the most part it's a broken system, and they run away from something bad. You don't run away from something good. You run away from something bad, and where do you end up? You end up on the streets. 1 in 3 runaways have an encounter with the trafficker within 48 hours. That's why the Amber Alerts are so important. You've got to get the kids as soon as possible.
Okay, 1 in 3 within 48 hours of being on the street. Specifically, what happens? Can you detail sort of a scenario?
I can detail a scenario. Let's say we have a 11, 12, 13-year-old, and they run away because they're probably being abused in the foster care home. Otherwise, they would not select to go on the street. The foster care parents will not report them as missing because then they don't get their check.
Right.
So there are all these foster care kids out there never reported as missing. They call them the throwaway kids. And while it's getting cold, they're hungry, here comes this nice guy. He says, well, my sweetheart, let me take care of you. You can stay at my house. And that's how it starts.
And the education level, the foster care kids, they're from childhood, or they just get lost, they get abandoned by their parents? How does this happen?
A lot of times they get taken away from the parents for a very good reason.
I see.
And they end up in the foster care system. The foster care system works so if the biological parent, one of them or both, can come back and take care of the kids, they will always go back to the biological parent, which isn't always the best thing.
Right.
They could have ended up in a very nice foster care home. And it's very frustrating also for a good foster care parent who really cares about the child, because they can lose them in a time to the biological parent. And it's a horrible system.
Now, kids who live here, these are the children
These
who
are
live
local
here.
kids, yeah.
Do we find, and I think the last time you were on, you said not so much, that kids from outside Las Vegas coming to Las Vegas,
Not so much.
not so much,
If they
right?
come to Las Vegas, those are runaways, a little bit older, probably 15, 16, 17 or so. They take a Greyhound bus. If you go down to the Greyhound station on a Friday night or Saturday night, it's going to be lined up with pimps, standing there, or traffickers as I prefer to call them, waiting. And here comes these young girls. They have no clue where they're going and hardly have any money. And here comes this guy. Well, sweetheart, where are you going? Well, I don't know. Well, I'll take care. Come and stay with me. I have extra room.
I see. Now, it sounds as if this is something obvious happening in front of police or in front of authorities. We've just had an election, a lot of new leaders in place. This is not a Republican or a Democratic
No,
issue. This
this
is a
is-
human issue, as
yeah.
we talked about off camera.
Yeah.
What's being done? How are we improving or not improving? What's happening
Well-
in the enforcement of the laws, which is obviously
There are 4 or 5 bills, Assembly bills and Senate bills up now, that's going to go through in the summer when they look at all the bills. Hopefully they have
Right.
time to look at them all. But these are all trafficking bills with a little different twist to them. But they all going to help the situation.
Now, is it about funding to help the situation? Is it about using the current resources we have on the street, whether it's the police or social services in some way? What is the
It's
answer?
always fun. It's always
Always
funding.
money.
But I tell you, the police is doing a great job, and they have specialized vice personnel that are trained. They
Okay.
are really trained on trafficking. It's because they are either police officers with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department or FBI or both combination. They have a new, I shouldn't say a program. They have a new slogan: "See something, say something."
Right, I've read that.
Yeah, and they are begging the public to help out. They can't be everywhere. There is no way they can be in all the neighborhoods. They cannot be at all
Right.
the malls. They're begging people that be alert. You see something strange? Call. You can be anonymous. Call 311, tell them what you see. You cannot really, if you see a situation immediately, they're not going to come immediate. But you live in a neighborhood, you see something funny going on in a house. That's not the normal family living. There is people coming and
Right,
going all the time.
right,
Call, give the address, say this is what I've seen. They will investigate.
Now, this is a change. I think you've been on the show
Yeah.
a couple times. When we first talked about it, prevention, what do we do? The main thing was, well, you be aware and you try.
Yeah.
But there is an active participation partner in the police or the
Absolutely.
FBI.
I mean,
in-
they're really reaching out to people.
That's-
See something, say something. And they ask you, you'd rather call one time too many than not at all. Because it can save lives. And you'd be surprised what goes on in neighborhoods, regular neighborhoods.
Right. Okay. You talked to me off air about the Swedish model, i.e., how do we stop? How do we slow down? How do we interrupt this continual problem, obviously?
Swedish model was implemented in Sweden in 1999. And what they did, they started going after the Johns, the people that buy sex. And even to the police surprise, 85% or 90%, somewhere in between there, these were respected, educated family fathers living among us.
Right.
They had not expected that many, but that's what they were. So here, their name now is all over the paper and they are in jail. I tell you, it came to an abrupt stop. We have no trafficking in Sweden now. We have prostitution and we have escort services, but we don't have trafficking, and absolutely not underage girls in that.
Let's get into the
Slavery.
Bob Kraft situation, owner of the New England Patriots. Got caught at a parlor, I guess, in Florida, Jupiter, Florida. Was it Jupiter? Something like
Think
that.
so.
Yeah. Guy like that, right? This is what you're talking about. Just a regular guy who's... now, what do we know about that? How does his particular name factor help or hurt a situation like this, and how can actually it maybe help to prevent other people from getting involved in this?
Well, anytime you get hold of a celebrity, it shows people, anybody. These are people walking and living among us. And of course it's going to get the headlines. If this had been Mr.
Right.
Smith, we wouldn't have heard about it.
Well, there was hundreds of other
Yeah.
men.
Of course.
Right.
But we hear about this and 2 other celebrities that were involved. Why are they doing this? A man who can buy anything he wants
Right.
and go into a luxury hotel and do whatever he wants. Why on the earth does he go to a little sleazy little massage parlor where the girls don't speak any English and they are young and they're virtually cooking and living in that little room where he was in? What attracts a person to do that? I have no clue.
Right. And as we were also talking, we're not quite sure what is involved and what happened.
No.
We don't know whether he knew about the trafficking element, whether these people who were involved with it, the girls, were captive there, i.e., I've read things where they could have walked out the door or, and it's not as simple as you say that.
It's not as simple. And if this is indeed part of a very large ring, international ring, there's a lot of money involved, he may be part of that.
Right.
But let's not assume that.
No, you
He
can't,
could be a
but you
totally
don't-
innocent
we don't
guy.
know.
We don't know. We don't
Right.
know the full story. And there are a lot of these parlors all over the US, a lot of them in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably because it's easier to bring the girls. You know how they bring in the girls sometimes?
No.
Cargo on the
Oh.
ship. No documents required. No one is going to check it.
Lena, thanks very much for coming on the show, bringing awareness to this
Thank
horrific
you.
problem. Thanks a lot very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification in an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At RuthlessCowboys.com, you can shop our shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to RuthlessCowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. RuthlessCowboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in. We're on each and every week, as you know, and we bring people to the show who help us understand what's going on in the marketplace, how you can use that information to buy and sell properties. Right now, we're going to bring on probably the guy who does mostly mortgages for Malibu Funding, the company that sponsors this particular show, the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. He is an expert in non-traditional mortgages, traditional mortgages, and a way to be able to get something done if you're being told that you can't do it. Anyway, I'm talking about Charles Giscombe. He is the regional director and manager here in Las Vegas for Malibu Funding. Hi.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here, as
Thank
always.
you.
As
Yeah.
always.
Okay, mortgages. Now,
Yes.
I'm going to read you a couple things. You respond, okay?
Okay, sure.
Mortgages rates fell for a third consecutive week, ending the 21st February. 30-year fixed rate mortgages decreased by 2 basis points to 4.35%. Reaction to that? Since they were up, now they're down. Where are we heading?
We were on the cusp there of turning this market into a renter's market, almost.
Right.
Because the interest rates were going so high, we understood that the Fed were raising rates towards the end of the year in 2018. This gives us an opportunity to really get back into it. Obviously, purchase business is purchase business, but we could actually go back and do stuff that we like to do as well as refinances. Refinances are big now because now that interest rate is low enough where people can see the savings. It makes sense to them. And then more people, especially investors, they'll jump out there even more so and purchase some stuff when those interest rates are staying low. So this is good, even though we know when the rates go down, they consider the market not being so good. But for this particular time, especially in Las Vegas, I think the interest rate decrease is a definite benefit right now.
Okay, reaction number 2. Federal Open Market Committee is not going to raise rates. They're at a bit of a holding pattern, meaning that your credit card, your car loan, and other notes that are associated with that particular rate aren't going to go up. Reaction to that?
I think it's an uncertainty, but I think it's a benefit again. Hopefully we can hold people steady. and create some kind of security and stability in the market right now, because for a while it was uncertain, and that's why we were flip-flopping. I think that's a great situation. It helps in the mortgage, in our mortgage industry, because we can, borrowers can now focus on, okay, I'm not going to have any radical, crazy increases in my situation, so I'm still stable. So now moving forward, I can still make an intelligent decision on making a purchase or a refinance without worrying about any other of my bills or liabilities increasing, which can also throw you out of whack a little bit as well.
Okay, let's talk about loans.
Sure.
Product in the marketplace, in a place like Las Vegas, where credit scores might not be the best.
Yes.
Right? How can we help borrowers who need a loan, but like I say, are credit challenged, or maybe have some issues, blemishes on their credit report that would affect a traditional mortgage?
I mean, obviously, we discussed it as you always bring me on. I've been making it a point to try to make myself an expert in non-traditional mortgages, non-qualified mortgages, non-QM mortgages is what we talk about. And those loans and those type of loans help individuals that may, in a traditional format, not be qualified or be less qualified. And what they do is they don't have so much emphasis on the credit events that occur on a person's credit. Foreclosure, for example. Mm-hmm. Now, in a traditional loan, 7 years out. If it's FHA, 4 years out. Right. Bankruptcies, 3 years out. With these non-traditional mortgages and these non-QMs, they're just worried about within the last 2 years or 12 months. If an individual can show that they can perform and they don't have any recent credit events within 24 months or 12 months, then they're willing to allow them to get back into the market. And these are people that are working hard, have good jobs, have money, just are hindered because 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, they might have had a credit event, which most people had a credit event, especially when the market crashed. Everybody kind of was a little unstable, and then years after that. So this at least allows them to get back into the market, be comfortable and confident. And also, one really important thing for us is the interest rates aren't so high that it's taking people out of the realm in which they really have the ability to repay. These interest rates are considered more hybrid, not hard money. Obviously, they're not as low as traditional, but they're right in the middle there. And it's still something that you can do until you can get yourself to the next phase, refinance possibly into a traditional mortgage, or when you get past and you're going to buy another house, then you'll be ready, be restructured, and you'll have the time frame will be knocked off so that you can get a traditional loan.
So your hard money loan is 10% and above, right?
Yeah,
normally
10%, 11%. I've seen some as high as 15%. And the points that are charged with those loans, I've seen 10 points on a hard money loan before, because there's really
there's no place else to go. You need the money. This is what you have to do.
And there's no cap on it, because it is what it is. That's why it's called hard. It's hard in every sense of the word.
Right. And these non-traditional or non-QM loans, they're more like, say, a point to a point and a half above what a standard loan would be on a 30-year fixed.
Absolutely, and more so now because they become more prevalent in the market, because they have.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Right.
They have a great presence in the market now. Now they're trying to make them so that they're compatible or comparable almost to a traditional loan and what it might be charged. You might pay an additional fee, a little bit more, obviously, and you have to pay processing fees and underwriting fees as well. But at the same time, it's still allowing the person to feel like they're just not being taken advantage of in a mortgage situation, but are being helped and given a second chance or a benefit to get it done. And in some cases, non-QM mortgages and non-traditional mortgages are taking precedence over traditional loans now because of the less strict guidelines.
You do loans all over the country.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you see a difference in either issues with the loan themselves, customers, the problems that you might have getting people approved, or is it universal? It's either credit or income?
That's an interesting question and a great question. There's always a particular issue in a state, like we're in Illinois as well. Obviously it's really competitive there. The things that you have to do in that particular state for closing attorney state, or what you have to get done and qualify for it. There's different things, but for the most part, in mortgages, it's kind of universal. It's, do you have the documentation to qualify? Mm-hmm. Do you have the proper credit score to qualify? Because FHA is FHA. They don't care where you are, right? They just want to make sure that you can meet that minimum required net guideline. Conventional, the same way. Freddie, Fannie, all of those the same way. But in different places, You see some things are a little bit different. Obviously, there's title and escrow states, then there's closing attorney states, so there's different things you have to deal with that. But mortgages are mortgages and mortgages. It's pretty much universal when it comes to credit, and that's really what it boils down to.
Here in Nevada, in let's say Clark County, where most of the real estate is bought and sold, right?
Okay.
Okay. We're seeing more properties on the market today than we did a year ago.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, there's like 8,000 today or 11,000 today, and there was, like $3,000-4,000 less properties on the market last year.
Right.
We see interest rates are lower.
Yes.
This is a great time to buy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Great time.
Okay. You're also in the flipping business.
Indeed
You
I
do fixing up of homes and refurbishing them and putting them back on the market for sale.
Yes.
Do you think Las Vegas still has opportunities in that flipping area?
I most certainly do. We always talk about this. Whoever's last was first, whoever's first was last. Obviously, crash came through Las Vegas. What's been happening in this market is amazing. I think now people are looking further out and they have a vision of not to allow that to happen again or to cap it off.
Right.
But right now, in this particular market right now, you still have the ability to really make sound investments and make money. You don't have to be greedy with it and stretch it all the way out, but there is an ability to make money. Now, obviously, everybody wants the perfect world in the flipping market is, buy low, renovate, flip high. We all know that. But if you have confidence and faith in the market, the way I do, the way many of us do, you don't have a problem with going up a little bit in the amount that you purchase, because now your competition starts to slack off a little bit because some individuals don't have the means to take it to the next level. So even in the next level, in the next tier, there's awesome opportunity for people to grab. So you're not in 250 realm. You might be in a 350 realm, but guess what? There's still space and room, because as those houses go up, square footage doesn't lie, right? Square footage is square footage, dollar per square footage means you're going to make some money. If you have, if you have the stick-to-itiveness and the wherewithal and say, hey, listen, we can push it through, you can make money, and Vegas still has that. Even from a low end to a medium end, all the way to the higher end, there's money to be made.
Okay, great. In the last few seconds we have left, where do you see rates? Because that's really dependent on the economy and a lot of other
Correct.
things. So where do you see them happening in the next, over the summer, let's say?
You know what, I'm hoping, I do believe that we're balancing things out and leveling it out. I still do believe there are going to be some rate increases. I think it's still an excellent opportunity for us to get in up until the summertime, to make purchases, to do the things that we want to do. I think we'll be okay for a while. We just have to keep your eye on it. And as the stability of the economy goes, obviously the rates increase a little bit more.
Right, that's right.
So right now, in this unsteadiness, this is a great time to buy.
Right,
and
I
not
agree.
be afraid.
Okay, thanks very much, Charles. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Jeff.
That's Charles Giscombe from Malibu Funding, and I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll see you next time.